Point is, you are from an immigrant family and you're married to an immigrant. Why are you so against immigration when it worked?
Because we have to control it. We have to control.
Richard Tice of the Reform Limited Party, formerly Brexit Limited Party, formerly UKIP, was on Talk TV a few days ago, and he confirmed that he now backs a referendum on immigration this time because he feels that we don't talk about immigration enough. What a joke.
You could put a question to the public in a referendum about immigration. What would it be? I mean, could you back that?
Oh, I think you could have a debate about what should the number be, for example. What should the net number be? Should it be net zero? Should it be net 50,000? Should it be net 150,000? You could do that. In a sense, if it encourages a sensible debate on the issue, then I think I probably would be quite in favour of it, rather than at the moment where we're getting the opposite, where you're basically being smeared and labelled if you want to debate the levels of immigration. And that's been the problem for too long. No one wants to talk about it. So not only are they still frightened of talking about it, but actually they want to suppress debate about it and smear anybody who wants to talk about it as a far-right thug.
Fortunately, Jonathan Liss was on Talk TV to counter this ludicrous suggestion.
Jonathan Liss, your response to Richard Tice.
What I find funniest about this is the idea that we're not allowed to talk about it. It's all we bloody talk about. It's all we've been talking about my entire adult life. No one is smearing anyone who has concerns about immigration as the far right. I don't know where this fantasy comes from. I've never seen anyone say that someone who has questions about immigration is far right. Someone who torches a mosque or who wants to burn down an asylum seeker hostel, that is far right. That is not the same as having questions about migration. And my goodness, I've had an infinite, it feels, number of debates about migration, perfectly civilised people who have different views on migration from me, and that's all welcome. We just had an election barely a month ago, where people had the right to vote for parties that were much more hardline on immigration. They did not do so. Tice had his referendum. His party didn't win it. That's why we have a Labour government, and they scrapped the Rwanda scheme, and they're going to be a little bit more pro-migration, which is something I welcome.
Jonathan Liss is absolutely correct. Nigel Farage burst out into the political arena decades ago, and all he's ever gone on about is immigration. Here's a reminder from 2015, a question time, in which Nigel Farage was promising that an Australian point system was the answer to all of our prayers and that everything would be tickety-boo if we vote for Brexit.
Between 2001 and 2011, EU migrants put in 20 billion into the EU economy. They put more in than they take out. I know people are concerned about immigration, but we've got to look at the facts. These facts are in front of us. I mean, Sarah Wollaston, she exited the Brexit campaign today because she said that the figures that are coming out from the Brexit side are coming out false. And she said, and she's GP, she said, like the NHS, a lot of information was stoked up about the NHS, and she said it's not true, it isn't true. So she has actually left the campaign and she's joined the Remain side. There are skeptics, Eurosceptics, that are joining the Remain side, even though they're still skeptical, because they see the economic problems of pulling out. We pull out, we are going to go into recession. Brexit is almost an anagram of recession. If you put two S's into the word Brexit, it's Brexession. They almost designed it that way.
What's that got to do with immigration, Eddie? Wasn't that the question?
Well, no, the point is immigration. If we pull out, then we become Norway. Norway still has to have the free movement of people in. So we become Norway, or are we going to become Albania? If we become Albania, the Prime Minister of Albania wants to join the EU, or we become Canada. The point is, you are from an immigrant family, and you're married to an immigrant. Why are you so against immigration when it worked?
Because we have to control it. We have to... Hang on.
You grew up. You're French Protestant from one side, you're German from the other side. Yeah. You should be the champion.
Well, I
am. Of people who are immigrants coming in. Look what they did. They got it to your situation.
Why do you want to stop people from the Commonwealth coming in? Because we have an open door to Southern...
Why do you want to stop people coming in from countries like
because I want to have an Australian-style point system where we get the right people coming to Britain in the right numbers.
Nigel, you told your followers to bully people to vote for you. This is not the right attitude for you to have.
Eddie, if we go on with current levels of immigration...
You've got to answer your own
Our population
You are from an immigrant family.
Will be 80 million by 2040.
All right.
How are we going
All right,
to?
I'm going to...
How are we going to cope?
Needless to say, we voted for Brexit. Immigration has quadrupled as a result of the Australian point system, which was always going to liberalise immigration and also ensure that we lose control of asylum seekers trying to get refugee status in Britain. Gordon Brown pointed this out in 2000.
Much of the talk at the moment is about small boats arrivals. And actually, you can see, yes, the numbers are rising. They're bumpy, depending on the season. But 30,000 in the past 12 months, the highest they've been for quite some time. But how does that compare with the other bits of migration that we know about? So that's small boats. Now bring on other asylum seekers, that's considerably higher. Now bring on other legal reasons for migration, so work, study, and other reasons. Legal migration utterly dwarfs the illegal small boat side of things. And then if you add on other reasons, more recently, like Ukraine, people coming in from Ukraine and from Hong Kong, that's considerable as well. But really, it's study and it's work, and people who are dependents coming in for those reasons that are by far and away dominating this story. It's very different from the overall narrative that we tend to hear about. But one thing that certainly is clear is when you look at the overall picture, this is net migration as a percentage of the population going all the way back to 1855. This is unprecedented, what we're going through right now. Look at this line. I'm going to bring on the last year. We've never seen that line as high as it's been recently, and this is going back a long way, so people are right to be concerned about this because it is unprecedented.
Those who listen to Nigel Farage and the Conservatives, who for many years have been promising that a vote for them will reduce immigration, have been done. They've been diddled. And they ought to learn their lesson and stop listening to them because they're giving them false promises and false information. The truth of the matter is we do need immigration because we have a top-heavy, ageing, elderly population who had less children. Our birth rate has been in decline since the 1960s. And that means that our working age population is not big enough, it's shrinking. Therefore, that means we need immigration to keep the country going and functioning, to make sure that the NHS functions and our schools function and our farms have workers. So personally, I celebrate the uptick in immigration. It is a Brexit benefit. However, we didn't need to do Brexit to increase immigration from the rest of the world. We always could have implemented the Australian point system and remained European Union members. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe and you can hit the notification button and that lets you know when I put a new video up. And do comment below, let me know what you think.